your work and what you have done, and thank you for informing us, the American people, about what you've done. My question to you, John, is what's going on right now in Afghanistan and Iraq and in Iran? Do you think that we have economic hitmen going to Iran, going to Afghanistan, and trying to bribe them before they bring in the jackals, as you mentioned, and our military into...
All right, we'll get that answer on the other side. We got 2 minutes left with him. He's got another interview coming up. Quick break. Come back with 2 or 3 minutes with John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. We'll get his answer on the other side. I mean, I'll go ahead and steal the thunder. It's on record. They've got not just money in Iran. They're staging terror attacks there publicly, and Iran sits there and takes it. But we'll get John Perkins' take on that on the other side. JohnPerkins.org, Infowars.com. Again, get on his free mailing list at JohnPerkins.org to find out the latest when his new book, Hoodwink, is coming out exactly, he says, in November. And just really excited to have John Perkins back up with us. Hopefully he'll come back in the next few months because this economic crisis is so serious. We went to break earlier. I never asked that question, or I never got the answer to it. So in closing, answer the fellow's question about are there economic hitmen in Iraq and Iran? And then the final point is, do we, in your opinion, have a chance to beat these people?
And first question, lots of economic hitmen and jackals in Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan. I know some of them. I'm in communication with some of them. But assassins and economic hitmen both doing our dirty work over there. And yes, I think we have an incredibly good chance of getting rid of this, of turning this whole thing around, Alex. That's what my new book coming out in November is about. And again, if people go to johnperkins.org and sign up for my newsletter, we'll be announcing the time of that book. The working title is Hoodwinked. And it really gets into this, that I think we are at a threshold in human history right now where things are in such entropy that we're going to come out of this either under a terrible dictatorship, the most global dictatorship ever in our history, or we're going to come out on top, and I'm fighting for us coming out on top. And I think we all need to get in there together. We have tremendous power as individuals, perhaps more now than ever, because in essence, this new empire is being created through economics, through the way we shop, through the way we live, through the people we watch on television, through the messages we listen to on radio and television. There's a classic struggle going on right now.
So it's insidious that it's not an open military threat, and that's its strong suit, but it's also its Achilles heel because we have inherent power in the system. So you're saying you believe they are overplaying their hand and we've got a good chance on bringing this dragon down?
I think they have overplayed their hand. I mean, that's what, there's a huge revolution going on in Latin America. 10 countries representing more than 80% of the population of South America have voted in very left-leaning, liberal, progressive, whatever you want to call it, presidents that are saying no to this. And I think in our last election, when we elected Obama, we said no. Whether Obama's going to go along with that or not is another question, but I think that's the symbolism, that's the message that was sent. People are waking up. They woke up big time in Latin America. They're waking up in the Middle East. And I think we've woken up here, but we need to keep waking up wider and wider and taking more action and not expect that Obama's going to do it for us. We have to do it. You know, we didn't end slavery in this country because Abraham Lincoln found himself in the White House. We pushed and pushed, and we elected a man who we knew was going to end slavery. Women didn't get the right to vote because Woodrow Wilson was for women's suffrage. He wasn't. After he was elected, the women went out on the streets. Everywhere that man went, he was followed by women pickets with huge signs that said, why should we fight for democracy in World War I in Europe when half of our own country doesn't have the right to vote? We didn't get out of Vietnam because Richard Nixon was anti-war. He wasn't. We got out of it because the people demanded it. Of course, we were also losing the war like we are in the Middle East today. But the people demanded it. We took to the streets. We've got to demand it now. But today it's easier because, in a way, we can demand it by the way we shop as much as anything, as you pointed out. We have tremendous control. And for far too long, we've let these people get away with convincing us that what we really want is the cheapest tennis shoes and T-shirts, even though slaves are making them. And it
destroys our industry. It destroys us. It's a gun that shoots both ways. John Perkins, I'm going to let you go. You got another interview coming up. We'll talk to you again very, very soon. Thank you so much. The website is johnperkins.org, and the book is Confessions of an Economic Hitman. John Perkins, the new book, working title, Hoodwink, coming out in November. We'll talk to you soon, sir.
Alex, you're beautiful. Keep up your great work.
Thank you. You are too, my friend. Good to have you on. We appreciate your courage. There goes John Perkins, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I didn't get to Joe's call directly for him, but he had to go. But he said he'd like to come back up for a longer interview in the near future, so we will get that done ASAP. Okay, let's go ahead and go to your calls. You know, I haven't been taking enough calls lately. You know, we could take thousands of calls on the show. Literally, we could give each caller like 10 seconds to take 1,000 calls in 4 hours. But I don't do that. I got so much news, so much info. But the other big problem taking calls is callers always bring up such incredible angles and stories and things that I'll go on some rant or dissertation, or they will, that we never get to everybody. And so folks, you know, get dissuaded from calling in. We're taking your calls right now. I'm giving each caller about a minute and a half so we can talk to everybody during this hour. Then we're getting a report from Bilderberg coming up next hour. What all happened to Skelton this weekend? That's top news story in the London Guardian right now. Let's go ahead and talk to Joe in Texas. Joe, you're on the air. Go ahead. Welcome.
Hi, thanks.